What's up, you guys? It's your girl Didi, and I'm back again with another freaking video. So, as you can see by the title of today's video, I'm gonna give you guys a story time. Starting off from my last story time that I posted. But yeah, so this is the Ken Chronicles, okay? This is probably the last of it. As much as I'm over it, and it was like literally years ago, it's just exhausting talking about the past. But honestly, I don't mind because it's kind of therapeutic. So I don't really mind telling you guys these stories. Where we left off last time is when the church going Ken, you know, I thought he was high, holier than thou, and I thought he was the sweetest. He just left me at the movie theater. After that happened and everything, we kind of fell off. I wasn't realizing that he was playing me. He was playing me the whole time, y'all. He was literally playing me the whole time. This is a story of when I found out I was the side chick, okay? And this took, sadly, this took many years for me to realize, but eventually I realized it. So I'm about to tell y'all the story. After the whole movie thing, we were never ever officially anything. Like, it was never talked about. He would just always be like, oh, I really have love for you, blah, blah, blah. He just literally stringing me along, and I was falling for it like a dumb. I was young, I was naive, so I thought, you know, yeah, he's just got a lot going on. That was not the case. But anyways, he was never, you know, trying to make me and him official. So I got into a relationship with another guy, which we'll get to in a, I mean, I don't even know if I want to talk about these people because low-key, I feel like they watch my videos, and I don't want to talk about anybody I went to school with because I feel like they definitely watch my videos. You guys may or may not get those videos of people I went to school with. So yeah, I got in another relationship and Ken was no longer on my mind. But fast forward 2-3 years. So, hey Bubba. Hey you guys, I want you guys to see my new Bubba. This is Bruno. Yeah, he hates being held. Yeah, he just does not like to be held. I read something about bunnies not liking to be held, but I'm gonna make him like to be held like a baby. Cause I just want to carry him around like while I'm doing anything, like picking up stuff. Cause he's so cute. He's just like a little fuzzy ball. I love my son. So fast forward to 2018 is when me and him started talking again, because I had cut him off because I started peeping. The older I got, I realized, yeah, this boy is playing games, but I never fully like cut him off, you know? Like I usually would like just, you know, I would stalk him from afar, like on Instagram.
Think of yourself. Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
But I would never like, and I would keep him on Snapchat, but I would never cut him off fully. Like I always wanted him to see me, but I knew like he was a good looking dude. He could sing. I knew he had other girls around. I started realizing like, you know, this boy is for the streets. But anyway, but I still kept him close. You know what I'm saying? You get it. Anywho, 2018 rolls around and it's like literally, it was like January, the beginning of the new year. I was like, I don't know what in my mind thought this was a good idea, but I was like, you know what? I saw Ken in my Instagram, like he had posted something. I was like, you know what? I haven't talked to him in a minute. I'm gonna text him.
So dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Wrong idea. I should have never done that. But anyway, I did. I texted him and I was like, hey, what's up? And he was like, hey, love. It's always that, hey, love. But anyways, it's good when it's genuine, but when it's not, it's like, why would you call me that? You know that's my like weakness. I love to be called love, baby girl, boo, like I love all that stuff. Anyways, so he called me that and he was like, hey, what's up? I missed you, like it's been a minute. And I was like, yeah, like, you know, I've been busy. At that point I had a steady job. I was working at Starbucks, like making drinks, and I thought I was living a pretty good life. Yeah, I was not, but I thought I was good. I was like, you know what? I could let him back in my life. Worst decision ever. But anyway, so I let him back in and we were talking. We had talked for weeks. You know, it was kind of like flashing back. I had like flashbacks like to back when we would talk all the time, and it was just really cute conversation. I was like, yeah, I want to see you. And he was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I live in blah blah. I'm not gonna say where he lives. And he's like, yeah, you should come see me. And he gave me the address, and we picked a time. It was gonna be like a Friday night, and yeah, I would come over. He had lived with his uncle and a few brothers. That Friday, I had came over. I had lied to my mom. This time I lied because I had been telling her about Ken, and she did not like Ken at this point, but I didn't want to tell her like I'm going over to Ken's house, the one that's been, you know, playing me for the past few years, like just reeling me in and then throwing me out, then reeling me in and throwing me out. Like, I didn't want to tell her that because she would have looked at me like, are you dumb? And I would have been like, yes. But instead of being dropped off, at this point, I still didn't have my license. I didn't even have my permit. Yeah, I was 20 years old. And yeah, I didn't get my license until I was 21. Yeah, I was 20, I still didn't have my permit or my license. So you know what I did? I took a Uber. I took an Uber to his house, and I remember pulling up. It was dark too. Again, I don't know why I was going over his, like, wanting to see him so late. I don't know. No. It was always his idea to see me late. Red flag. I would be like, how about like we go to the mall like early in the day? He was like, no, come to my house. Red flag. I should have seen it, but my dumb ass did it. But anyways, so I went over. It was like around, it was late too. It was like around 6:37, and again, this was like mid-winter. It was like early January, February-ish. The excuse I told my mom, I was just like, yeah, I'm going over my friend house, and it worked. So I remember I went behind. So this is our apartment. Our apartment's like in front here, and I remember I walked farther down the other apartment across the street, like to the side of us, and I had the Uber pick me up there. Yeah, I was slick with it. I remember pulling up to his house. I was nervous the whole ride there because I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna see this man after years. Like literally had been like 3 or 4 years since I've seen him. Like we had been talking off and on, but I have not seen this man since the theater. So I was like, you know what? Like I came in, I was dressed real nice. Like I remember I had like a little crop top on, and I was a lot thinner than I am now. So picture that, okay? I had my little crop top, and I had some really cute jeans on, and my hair was like kind of like this. I don't know, but it was cute. I remember pulling up to his house, right? And I got out. I walked up to the front door, and I had texted him once we pulled up, and I was like, hey, I'm here. And he was like, okay. So I get to the front door, and I'm knocking. And mind you, it's dark out. Like this is like winter time. It gets dark like at 5. And I was there for a good hot minute. It was like 30 seconds past, nothing. So I texted him, I'm like, I'm here, I'm in the front of your door. Knocked again, knock, knock, knock. 2 minutes go by, nothing. 3, 4, 5, nothing, okay? And I'm like, God forbid this be a repeat. Don't have me sitting in front of your house, okay? In a neighborhood I don't know. This neighborhood looks real sketchy, okay? Don't have me out here getting kidnapped. Like, what is you doing? So I'm texting him, I'm like, hello, like I'm here. And then I started calling him off of Snapchat. And then he picks up and he's like, oh, come around the back. Okay. I go to the back of his house, and I remember stepping into this house, y'all. When I tell you that house was a mess, as soon as I walked in the door, I was smacked in the face with the scent of like dog shit and dog food and just dog, okay? Like it smelled like dog, okay? So there's that, okay? And then the scenery, don't get me started on the view, like the scenery of the place. That place was filthy. It was filthy. Like I remember walking through the kitchen, because the kitchen was like towards the back. It was a small house. It was like a 2-bedroom house. But I remember walking through the kitchen. I'm like, I look over and there's like literally a pile of dishes. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I have left dishes in the sink, but these dishes look like it have been sitting for weeks, like either a week or more. And I'm like, I digress. I walked past the kitchen area and then into the dining room. There's a table full of crap. Like there's just stuff all over. Sorry, that's the train. Let me rewind a little bit, because not only when I first walked in, not only was I smacked in the face with like the smell of dog feces, they had 2 pit bulls, okay? Like, he wasn't jumping on me, but he was like scrambling at my feet, like, you know, acting like, looking like he was about to jump on me. And I was like, no, 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 no. Ever since I was little, I've always been afraid of big dogs. I like the small ones. Even the small ones can be a little feisty, but I'm not as scared of them. I know that pit bulls are not aggressive animals by nature. They're learned to be, or they're taught to be that way. Because I remember I had an aunt that had a pit bull, and he was the sweetest dog ever. And he actually made me realize that, you know, not all these breeds that are said to be aggressive are aggressive. So, but the way they was just scrambling around me, like trying to get on top of me, I was like, I was already just not. I remember as soon as I even got to the back, I was already just kind of wanting to turn around, because I'm like, why did you have me go through the back door? But anyway, so I go past the kitchen. I see paper all over the table, like the dining room table. I see plates of food. I go into the living room area. Hey y'all, when I'm talking about the kitchen, I just want to make sure y'all don't think I'm exaggerating, because I left out a few things. Like, there was dust, you know, above the stove, like where you cook, that little fan. It was covered with dust. There was dust everywhere. The floor was just looked very unkept. The floor was dirty. It looked like it hadn't been swept in freaking years. It was just mold in the cracks of the walls. Like, it was just so bad, y'all. It was probably the cleanest part of the whole house, because the living room was decent. They had a TV, they had a couch, and I remember him, you know, he was like, come on in. And so I came in, and he's like, oh, the dogs, they're okay, like, don't worry about them. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna worry about them because they're acting real hyper, like they want to jump on me, and I'm just not feeling it. Like, please, no, don't have them jump on me. So I go into the living room, and he's like, you know, you can have a seat. No, and I just remember him being so cold towards me. Like, he wasn't really, I just remember he was being real distant. He's like, oh, just so you know, like, my uncle's gonna be here soon. I wasn't trying to have a face like, ugh, but I was definitely looking around like, oh, okay, like, And he must have saw that, because as soon as I did that, he was like, oh, just so you know, my uncle's coming in like a couple hours, so we're about to clean the whole house up. And I'm like, okay, well, why am I here? I could have came after y'all clean. I could have just came at another time. So he's like, oh yeah, my uncle's coming back, and yeah, we're just gonna clean up, so don't worry about the mess. And I'm like, oh, okay. I wasn't worried about it, even though I was. I remember going in the kitchen, and I did see an older brother that he had there. And in the living room there, he had a younger brother that was like playing video games on the TV or whatever. There was a love seat couch, and then there was like a single chair couch, and one of his other brothers were sitting on like the single chair. So I'm like, okay, there's a whole lot of guys here. Like, I thought we was gonna, you know, be like just the 2 of us. Like, I wasn't realizing this was a whole, like, I don't know, like, just the fact, like, I just don't like being in a house with a bunch of guys. Like, I just don't, especially guys that I don't know. Like, but I was just like, let me just see how this goes. I mean, I'm already here. I was just like, you know, I'm just gonna see how this goes. We had hung out and talked so much in the past that I was a lot more comfortable than I was like at the movie theater. And I sat on the couch, and he sat next to me. He just wasn't that welcoming. Like, he was kind of, you know how dudes put on their front, like when all their guys are around. Like, I don't know, he just wasn't really paying attention to me, like, for real. And like, he was giving me that vibe like he really didn't even want me there, because he was talking to his brothers. He was like, they were chatting about the game, and I'm like trying to chime in here and there, like, yeah, like, who's y'all's favorite team or whatever. I'm gonna remember that, because like, I don't care about sports. So they was like talking about the game and just topics that I myself, female or not, like, I'm just not interested in. I'm not into sports like that. So I'm just like, you know, sitting there like on my phone, but still like listening to the conversation. Okay. This is a longtime friend. Her name, And then they was like, oh, hey, what's up? Like, it's just like, they just kind of gave me like a, you know, what's up, like whatever. It wasn't nothing major. Like, he wasn't really talking directly to me. He was talking more to his brothers and his friend in the room, but he wasn't really talking directly to me. And I'm like, okay, I came over here to spend time with you and like talk, and you're over here like playing the game. Like, he was playing the game and like just not even like really talking with me and like trying to catch up. So I'm sitting on my phone, and I'm just on my phone like texting my girls, and I think he noticed that or whatever. And then I don't know, he always says some weird stuff, but I remember he had said to his brothers, he was like, hey, y'all ever heard of a body? Yeah, I said that. A body. I'm gonna have to cut that out because of YouTube, you know, because we can't say that word. It starts with an R, ends with an E. Yeah, he said that. And I'm like, I remember I was on my phone, and I look up and I'm like,
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
huh? Did he, at first, because he only said it once. And I was like, did he really say what I think he said? And I'm like, okay, maybe I misheard. But then his brother confirmed it to me. He said, body. And then he was like, no, I've never heard of that. And he was like, basically, it's like when you give off the vibe, like you gonna somebody.
I'm in danger.
At that point, I should have just left, because I'm like, are you trying to make me feel uncomfortable, or like? And then they started laughing like it was funny, and I'm like, the fuck, what is funny about that? Like, huh? Anyways, so I'm just go right back in my phone, because I'm gonna act like I didn't hear what he just said. And I'm in my phone, and I'm like, oh, I was asking him like, so how's school? Because he, you know, he was in college, and I'm asking him about school and everything. And he's like, oh, it's good. Like, I forgot what he said he was going for. I think it was business or something. He was like, oh, it's going good. And then he's finally like talking to me a little bit. And we started talking about college, just talking about stuff, trying to get past the fuck that he said earlier. So, yeah. The reason why I'm adding so much detail about our conversation is because it was like over text and over the phone, the conversation was so great. Like, we talked about so much. He, you know, he seemed really, really interested in me. But it was like in person, it was a total switch. Like, he seemed distant. He seemed like he didn't want me there. It was just really weird. But then after that, he went back to playing his game, which is fine. But I'm just like, we haven't seen each other in like 3 years, and you just want to be on your game.
That's weird.
Like, I could have just been on the phone with you instead of came over. But anyway, so time passed, and I guess they get tired of playing the game. And he's like, oh, you want to come back to my room? And at this point, I'm bored. There ain't nothing, like, this ain't any better. So I'm like, okay, sure. Okay, so the living room, his room is like there's a hallway right next to the living room. So we go down that hallway, and like, he's the first bedroom there. So we enter his bedroom, and y'all, I wish y'all could understand how much I'm not exaggerating when I say that was the messiest room I had ever seen in my whole entire life. It was filthy. I don't even know how he walks in that room. There was no room to walk. There was clothes covering the floor. When I tell you it was covered, I couldn't walk anywhere without stepping on his clothes. And I'm like, oh, like, I'm trying not to step on his clothes, but it's literally covering the whole entire, there was no floor to be seen. All I saw was clothes on the floor, okay? And then he's got, like, you know, those little TV trays, like, just sitting, like, on the side of, it wasn't even on the side of his bed. It was, like, in the middle of the fucking room, like. Anyway, and so I see plates of food, like, again. I see plates of food like on his table, on the floor, on his bed. He had a bunk bed, okay? He was 20, he was the same age as me. At his grown age of 20, he had a bunk bed, okay? On that bunk bed was blankets, dirty sheets. Like, I didn't even want to sit on his bed. Like, I'm trying to be as respectful as possible without being disrespectful, but it was, out of that whole house, that was the messiest room I had ever seen. And that told me everything, because that's the one thing, you cannot be messy as a male. Like, I can't. Like, at that point, I wanted to leave, but I didn't. So he's like, oh yeah, you can come in here, like, here's my bed. I'm trying to sit on this bed. I sat on the edge of the bed. I was just so awkward because I'm like, oh my God, this is not how I live. This is not the living conditions I'm used to. I can't do this. I always freeze frame where I look the craziest, but I had to add the most important part that I forgot to tell you guys. I saw in the sea of clothes on the floor, I saw a pair of thong underwear on the floor. Yes, I did. Yes, ma'am. And not only did I see a pair of thong underwear, I saw what looked to be a pair of definitely female shoes. They were heels. I know a type of female shoe when I see one, so I know my eyes was not deceiving me. This man was playing me dead in my face. In my face. And I didn't see it. The stupidity is crazy. He said some don't mind the mess. We're cleaning like before my uncle gets home. Mind you, he said his uncle was gonna come in an hour or two. Y'all is not gonna get this house cleaned in an hour or two. This is a whole day of a job, okay? This house is gonna take a whole day, maybe 2, maybe 3 days to clean, because it's filthy, okay? The lower part, but we're laid up against the wall. And he's like, I don't have a TV, but we can watch a movie on my phone. And honestly, I was fine with that, because it's like, I don't have a TV in my room. And what I use to watch TV is my laptop. That's what I use. So I wasn't really tripping. So yeah, we were watching a movie. We started cuddling and just like watching the movie. And I'm just asking him questions like, you know, how have you been? Like, it's been a while. I'm sorry, I keep getting interrupted. They don't tell you about YouTube how hard it is to save storage on your phone. I don't want to buy extra storage. Anyways, as I was saying, before I was rudely interrupted. So as I was saying, I'm just asking him about like, how have you been? It's been a while since I've seen you. And he's like giving me one word answers. Like, he's like, yeah, it's good. It's whatever. Not really being super like detailed, like telling me much. And I'm like, oh, what have you been up to these, past few years? And it's like he doesn't want to tell me, like as if he has something to hide. And I'm like, I already know. And deep down, I was like, I already know you a player. Like, you don't have to hide it from me. It's like he kept just saying, like, just college. Like, you're doing more than just college. At this point in time, I'm like, feelings are like leaving. Like, I'm not super into him like I was them years ago, but I was still kind of into him. So yeah, he gets to touching on me. We don't, have, and it was nice or whatever, but really I just wanted to talk and like catch up. I thought maybe we would have watched a movie, went and ordered dinner. Nothing. This man didn't try to feed me. This man didn't try to give me a blanket. Just the hospitality was not hospitality of somebody that you care about and you wanted to see. Like, he was showing me like, I don't want to ever come back here again. That's what I was getting. His brother calls him because his uncle had came back. This was like an hour later, so he came early. They didn't do no cleaning, okay? The house was not clean. So anyway, we go back out in the living room and his uncle is there and he introduces me to his uncle. So now I'm in the house with 5 males, okay? The vibe was not, it just was not it. Like, I just felt really uncomfortable. He introduces me to his uncle. I'm like, hey, I'm Adia, and I've known Ken for a while now. We went to the same church. And then he looks at me and he's like, church? Oh, church? And I'm like, yeah. Now, this is where it gets real weird, y'all. Like, y'all gonna be like, what the? Yeah, hold on. You know, he's at the kitchen table. It's like, let me show you something about church. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we sit down at the table and he's like, hey, get her something to drink. Get her something to drink. Do you want water? You want a beer? What do you want to drink? I'm like, no, I don't drink beer. So I'm like, I'll take a water. And then he was like showing me some stuff about like basically trying to convince me that God wasn't real. Like, he was showing me videos. He's like, yeah, it's from the white man. Just some real wild stuff. I'm not even gonna get into it.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Was real confused because I'm like, I met you at church. Like, where's the correlation here? Like, what is going on? So he was showing me this video basically trying to like convert me to atheism. And I'm like, huh? Your uncle's an atheist? I'm confused. If I had not been confused before, I'm definitely confused because what? He had used to stay with his mom, and his mom was like a heavy Christian, and I guess his uncle was the opposite. Weird dynamic, I don't know. But I'm like, I'm feeling so uncomfortable. I'm drinking my water, just like, I didn't know what to say, because I don't know. I could say, no, like, I don't want to see none of that. And he could like, I don't know, freaking hit me upside the head. I don't know. So I was just like, yeah, I was just sitting there so uncomfortable, y'all. Like, I was already uncomfortable to begin with, but that just like literally put the icing on the cake. I'm like, I'm trying to find a good way to, you know, sneak on out of here because I'm done. Like, what y'all got going on here from the comment about the, you know, body, and then to your uncle talking about he's an atheist and he want to show me these atheist videos. I'm done. Like, y'all can, where's the door? Because I'm ready to go.
Woo, that'll do it. You don't have to worry about me. You do not have to worry about me.
His uncle went on for a long time too, about 30 minutes just talking, and then I think he realized finally like I'm not interested, and then he just said, oh, okay, well, you can have your girl's attention now. Yeah, I don't want to. I really didn't want to hear anything you had to say, sir. But anyways, so we go back in the living room and we're just chilling. Two of his older brother and the other dude go, and his uncle go back in the back room.
Suspicious.
And at this point, it's just like his younger brother, him, and me. We're just chilling, watching the TV. And while the movie's playing, I'm on my phone. I'm trying to find the closest Uber on my phone. I'm like, dang, time to put my address, because I'm trying to get the ASAP. So I put in an Uber, and I'm telling him, I'm gonna leave because I got work in the morning, and yeah, I gotta go. So I leave, and he lets me out the back door. I had to leave the back door, which I don't understand why. So I had to go back, and I caught my Lyft, or my Uber, and I went back home. Yo, I had never been happier to leave a place in my life. So once I got home, I did not talk to this man. I was just like, thank you for the time. Like, it was nice talking to you and catching up. That's all I said. Kept it real G. He's like, yeah, you're welcome. Like, are you okay? Like, you kind of left in a hurry. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, I just didn't want to be around your weird ass family. But yeah, I'm good. I didn't say that, but I was just like, yeah, everything's good. Everything's fine. Anyway, so literally the day after, he literally blocks me. He blocks me on Instagram anyway. He still had me on Facebook and Snapchat. So then a week later, and I can only say that this is like karma. A week later, like, I'm chilling. I'm just like wondering why he blocked me low-key. But I'm just like, whatever. Like, we had not been talking. Like, 2 weeks later, I see something was posted on Ken's timeline on Facebook. I'll go to the post, okay? And I see there is pictures and pictures of him with girls. I kid you not. And this could only be a result of karma. I was kind of in denial, but I was like trying not to think like, oh, you know, he probably has another girl. But I did not think it was to this magnitude, y'all. I saw pictures of girls all on his timeline, posing with girls like in really, you know, suggestive manners, and like videos of him and girls doing things. Like, it was just somebody had literally hacked his shit and posted all his stuff, human Playboy activities on his timeline. I was in shock. He probably has the award for longest time playing with a girl, because I was definitely that one, because he had got me for many years. But at this point, I was shocked and I was hurt, because I was like, oh my god, not only is it one, but it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There was so many girls. He was exposed to the fullest. You saw everything, like, and I was like, dang, really? I'm just so glad I didn't, you know, do anything with him. I never ever did anything sexual with this guy, which I'm so glad, because the amount of girls that he was messing around with, I could have caught something. I could have, it just would have been messy. I applaud the girl, whoever did it. They must have been mad. They must have found out some stuff and was mad as hell and really just exposed him. Hurting stage was over. I was kind of like, you know what? That's what you get. That's what you get. That gave me all the clarity I needed. Like, that's all I needed, and God knew I just needed clarity. I needed to know. This boy was so good at hiding it. Like, every time I would try to be in his phone, like, anytime he was on his phone, he would turn it. He would turn it like this and be like, you know, like if I'm sitting over here, he'd be like, the fact that I wasn't feeling like that connection, like I wasn't feeling like he was that into me, because he was not into me. That's why. So God was like, you know what, here, like, look at this post. Does that give you enough clarity? And I was like, oh yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Yeah, y'all, that's the story of the Ken Chronicles and how I found out I was a side chick and finally put that whole relationship, whatever the F that was, to rest, okay? But yeah, you guys, I will be doing a lot more story times because I have a lot more stories to tell y'all, okay? So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Peace.